Welcome back to the Myers and Young Sports Talk Show. I'm Jimmy Young, along with Mr. Jimmy Myers. How are you today, Jimmy?
Good to see you, young man.
Always a pleasure. And we are twin brothers, different mothers. We talk sports here every Monday from 6:30 to 8:30 at the Nobscot Cafe in Framingham. We just wrapped up an hour-long sports talk show with two of my young sportscaster proteges, Joe Braverman and Tom Kelly. And I just love talking to the kids, Jimmy, because they have so much time on their hands. They know so much more about stats and the different teams. It's like those days are so over for me, and I love listening to them.
Well, the best part about these young people, as I call them,
Yes,
is the fact that they're getting into the business. They're becoming young sportscasters. A couple of nights ago, I had a chance to go back and look at a show that we were doing called The Sports Professors. And I had a chance to look at some of those tapes, and I mean, it's hard for me to watch myself. It always is, because I'm super critical of my work. But at the same time, it was so much fun listening to some of the dialogue and commentary and the things that we were doing. And it also took me back to Young Broadcasters of America, which I still think was a vision or something that was way ahead of its time. And I hope that one day we'll find a way to get it back, because I don't think there's anything better than working with young people. I just don't. I just think that the greatest thing in the world is when you're imparting that knowledge that you've gained under me and I've gained under other people, to be able to pass that on to the next generation of sportscasters. I think it's great.
it is great, and it's very rewarding. And that reminds me, I have to write another college recommendation. TJ, don't worry. I know what my deadline is. I'll get it to you before you need it, okay? And that's one of the most fun things I get to do, is
Really?
write, college recommendations for
think
these
they're
kids.
great.
Because
Yeah.
I always try to remember something that they did that will serve them well, not so much in their sportscasting career, but in life. And that's what I found more than anything else, is the skills that we learned as broadcasters and how transferable many of them are to the real world. We journalists are storytellers. We told stories. You, of course, very objective. Me, objective when I got paid to be objective, and subjective when I didn't. Anyway, that being said,
Here we go.
storytellers. Okay, that's where I was going.
But
as our salespeople,
But can I ask-
salespeople tell
can I
stories.
ask you one
Politicians, lawyers. I'm just going on and on and on.
That's true.
They all tell stories.
But let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
When you first came under
you?
my tutelage,
1977, for those of you who are
but
scoring
you were,
at home.
You were never a kid. So when are we going to let them grow up too and say young people? Because that's what they are.
I know. You get. And by the way, I write young people now all the time.
Good man.
Okay,
And it was
I
young
see-
broadcasters of America. It
I
wasn't
know.
kid broadcasters
I
of
understand.
America.
I understand.
So let's let them be
and I know
young people.
you've never liked the kids thing.
No.
And to me, I have kids that are like 30 years old. Anybody who is old enough to be my kid could be my kid. That being said, we're moving on to young people,
Thank
which
you.
is under the age of 18.
Okay.
When they become, because at
Works
18
for
they
me.
become adults,
Okay.
right?
Yeah. Technically by law they do. But
That's right. That's what I'm saying. Technically by law, and Lord knows a lot of people, Jimmy, don't think I've ever grown up. So what can I tell you? The Peter Pan syndrome. Anyway,
you notice I'm not going there.
I was
I'm
going to say,
leaving
you're
that
biting
alone.
your tongue
I'm
right
doing
now.
the best I can just let that go.
Yeah.
Let it flow and let it go.
For those of you who don't know how far back we do go, we mentioned 1977. I was a junior at Tufts University when Tony Bennis came to me after I ripped up my ankle for the second time at Tufts and wasn't going to play soccer that year. And he said, well, what are you going to do with your time? And I said, I have no idea. And he says, how would you like to produce sports at Channel 4 in Boston? I was like, I don't know anything about television. He goes, no, but you know sports. And I go, of course I know sports. Of course I do. We all love sports, right? And he said, well, you'll be working with Jimmy Myers. And they go, calling all sports Jimmy Myers? That Jimmy Myers? Yes.
Yeah, that Jimmy
And I go,
Myers.
that's what it is, Jimmy Myers?
Yep.
I'm in. And then he said the best thing. You get college credit.
Yeah. On top of all of
You
this,
get college credit
God
to
bless
watch
Tony
sports on
Bennis
TV.
wherever you are.
I
God
was
bless
like-
you, Tony.
I was like, sign me
but
up.
think about it. Think about it. You got to do something that created a career for you.
Oh, my God, totally.
A 30-plus year, close to 40-year career.
Yes,
You
sir.
had all the fun that you wanted, and this came from you being injured and just saying, well, gee, I have no idea what I'm going to do.
Right.
Okay, we're going to let you do something else. I'll do that. And believe it or not, you get college credit.
That's great. It was great. God love Tufts University.
Hey.
Thanks, Dad. Anyway.
Thanks, Tony.
That's right. Thanks, Tony, too. The funny thing, when I went to Tufts, I wanted to be a teacher and a coach.
Okay.
Most influential people in my life, besides
happened. You became a teacher and a coach.
During my broadcast career.
You still became a teacher
There
and
are
a coach.
so many young people.
Yes.
They were young people when I first met them that are now in the business. In fact, one of the first
reward, Jimmy.
One of the first interns I ever had in Portland, Maine in '84, I want to say, was a guy named Norm Carcass. And Norm has been the main news anchor at Channel 8 and ABC affiliate up in Portland, Maine for over 15 years now. I think he did some of the Portland Sea Dogs games. I mean, he's become a big shot, basically. And he was my intern, and to this day, he still credits me for giving him that broadcast bug. So the virus you gave me, broadcast bug, okay, I have since passed it on. It is.
There are too many young people out there that are still in the business, that they're too far and too many to mention. And I think of all of them, what they're doing, how they're doing, and I always pray that they're half as happy as I've been in the business over all these years. That's all. I just say I hope that they're happy in what they've chosen to do, and that this career, which I always think is without a doubt one of the best you could ever have, that it provided some life experiences, some much joy, and a feeling of accomplishment every day that you've done something that you wanted to do. That's all.
Right.
Besides that, I don't think of many other aspects of it other than what it's done and what it's created.
And you know what? And I got back to Boston, which was always my career goal, was to prove to myself that I could be as good as anybody in the market when I first entered the market and when I was watching. And then I really got tired of it. I really got to the point where it's like, you know what? Scores and highlights, Brady versus Bledsoe for 5 hours. Does it really matter? It's entertainment for us. It's a big business. But I really wanted to do something to give back.
And you have.
And now I have.
For me, it was different. It was a question of being denied, even still being denied to this day, of opportunities because of being an outspoken person of color, being a person that is labeled for being a certain way. And I think that's sad because I think that the audience lost a lot in not having my voice in certain instances. But even today, I still see the influence, and I see where people are still so far behind us in what we're doing here. We'll mention something, and 2 weeks later, I'll see it on the air. Perfect example was today. One of the rare times I got a chance to watch ESPN in the afternoon, they were talking about how unfair it is for Tom Brady to be operating behind this offensive line. We were talking about that 2 weeks ago. We were 2 weeks ahead of this, and the fact that the Patriots would not spend the money to protect this guy this late in his career. So, it's just so many things, and so many times I'll sit down and I'll watch these younger sportscasters, and I'll ask myself, are they really into this, or are they more interested in hearing their own voices, getting paid a lot of money, making sure that there are figures out there in the world, instead of just doing their jobs? I
think they do their jobs, and especially people at ESPN. I know we'll have a disagreement about that, but I really do.
No, it's not a disagreement. It's just a difference in philosophy.
Yes.
It's just that the people that run that place basically are, since Disney brought them, they are still more interested in the entertainment aspect than the quantity and quality of what they're putting on sometimes, and the input. Whereas you have guys that are, and I'm not going to mention any of your names because you're not really that important to me, but I know the people that run.
Oh, mention their names.
No. I know the people that sit in the room every single day and let's go over what we're going to do tonight, and they really don't have a clue as to what these athletes, what these situations are truly about. So they try to come out with a spectacular view of, let's draw some listeners and let's make sure, since we're the quote unquote, what do you call it? The
worldwide leader in sports.
Whatever. And they don't really have a clue as to what really is going on out there in that world, in the street. They don't have street cred, they just have initials that says ESPN, so I can slap ESPN on you. I can slap ESPN on this sign. I can slap ESPN, and automatically somebody's going to watch. No, that's not what it's about. It's about being accurate. It's about being on time. It's about looking at a bigger perspective as to not where we are, but what this situation will mean. How badly they handled the Ray Rice situation, how badly other situations are handled, and the fact that you have a network contract with the NFL, which means we can't say certain things. Certain guys will be suspended. I understand another ESPN announcer just
Bill
got
Simmons.
suspended. Yes, because he called Goodell a liar.
No.
Something like that. What was
He dropped a few F-bombs during his
Whatever.
podcast.
Okay, yeah, but okay. But he also called the commissioner a liar.
And he
in that.
could be proven to be a liar.
And if he is,
He
then
should be
all
gone.
of a sudden, no, this guy becomes, well, he's prescient. He was way ahead of it. Well, F-bombs deleted, maybe he's not suspended. But what I'm saying is that, no, you're not supposed to use that type of language on the air. No, we're not supposed to do that. That's not what we're here to do. But once we have evidence sitting in front of us, it is our job to put it out there and let people know what we're supposed to be doing.
All right.
The image problem is already out there now. The bad image problem that was allowed to fester and get to this point has already indicted the league.
And justifiably so.
Yes, no
Okay.
question of that.
Does Roger Goodell survive this? Let me put you this. Let's do. And I hate hypotheticals, but we're gonna do it anyway.
That's a good question. That's a very good question.
Robert Mueller finds that videotape was at the NFL headquarters and received by them, and he has been lying to the American public since then.
Yes.
He can't survive.
Don't say can't, because remember, there is an arrogance that pervades in this league with these owners that they think that they're bulletproof. They can do whatever they want to do. And if they want to keep him bad enough, they'll paint the picture the way they want to. They'll use their money and their PR firms to paint this picture. Well, he lied, but he really didn't mean it. Or he lied, but he really saw the tape, but he didn't see the tape because he had sunglasses on. Or he lied, but, Batman flew in with the tape, and then Iron Man took the tape out. They'll come up with anything to make these gullible fans believe that no, yes, no, yes. And once you create confusion, Jimmy, that's the key. All defense lawyers
It's like
will tell you
reasonable
this.
doubt.
All defense lawyers will tell you this. All we have to do is create a reasonable doubt. And once we create that reasonable doubt, we have a chance of winning. I'm not saying that reasonable doubt is the right approach to do something, whereas prosecutors have to feel we have to go with the facts. We have to put the facts on the table and then let them muddy up the waters, the defense attorneys. And Roger Goodell has his own attorney sitting there along with these other owners and their attorneys, and they're all saying, okay, how do we save this guy's $40 to $50 million a year job? When we know, we're not stupid, and we know that the public knows. So how are we going to smooth this along, paint this beautiful picture, and then say, that's the Mona Lisa, that's what really happened? And then everybody says, I hate to tell you, that's not what really happened. So, you know.
Here's something that you probably haven't heard before about this, and I was actually talking about this earlier today with some family members. The videotape that everyone saw with the big TMZ logo burnt on it was not, and I'm going out, I know this for a fact because I'm just I'm interpreting it. I don't know this.
Okay, you know it's
I'm
fact.
interpreting this based on my knowledge of video.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that video was shot on a phone camera of the actual tape that was sent.
Okay.
That was in the hands of the law enforcement people in New Jersey,
Okay.
who did finally, they have that tape. They have the original tape from the camera, because it existed, obviously, but the video that was released by TMZ, I believe, was shot on a camera, and then TMZ went, hey, I got this great video, you want to see it? And they'll pay for that, and they did.
This thing is taking on a life of
I think
Watergate.
that's true.
Watergate proportions.
That's right.
I mean, was it
18-minute
shot on
gaps.
this? Was it
18-minute
shot on
gaps.
that? Was it shot on a regular camera? Was it shot on an Ikegami? Was it shot on a Suzuki?
Ooh.
The bottom line is this.
Ikegami
the
and
tape
Suzuki.
is there. It cannot be denied what you saw. And then
Right,
as they started to slow down the tape, they took you outside the elevator when Ray Rice spat at this woman first, then got you on the elevator, then he spat on her again. So all of this is sitting there in front of you. Now, if you're a person sitting in the jury of Goodell, and you see this, and you just ask yourself a couple of questions, and these are very, very easy questions. I am the person in charge of a multi-billion-dollar corporation, not multi-million, a multi-billion-dollar corporation. An incident occurs within my purview, within the scope of what I'm supposed to handle. Now, I have brought the two parties that are involved in this into my office, sat them there, and talked to both of them. And I have to make the world believe that I did not see this incredibly damning piece of video after talking to them, and I have to make the world believe that I knew nothing about the existence of this video and I didn't see it. And it's my company. Well, I'm the CEO, because that's all he really is. He's the CEO. And all of these owners and everybody says, well, you know, you gave him a 2-game suspension, then you came back with double jeopardy once this video was given out. And you still have to convince the world that you knew nothing about the existence of this, you knew nothing about this tape, and that you never saw it. It just doesn't wash, Jimmy. I'm sorry, it doesn't.
I agree 100% with you, and I do think ultimately it will be proven that videotape was there. Roger Goodell knew it and has been lying and spinning it.
You have voicemails saying that it was there.
That's right.
You have people saying, yes, I saw it.
Who
It
is that
despicable.
voice?
Yeah.
Who is that voice? That's what I want to find. It's a female voice. I know
hope-
it wasn't me.
Let's hope she's still alive.
Well, that's just it. I hope she's still
Maybe
alive.
they just pushed her. Listen, your voice will not be heard again, and we do
right.
not want to identify who you
yeah.
are and so forth. In a court of law, do you realize they would bring her up and say, is this your voice? Well, we have 15 experts to say that this is your voice. Yes, it's mine. Okay, did you say this is despicable? Yes, I did. Do you think that Paul got the... No, I don't think that Paul got the tape because I don't know what happened to the tape after that. I'm using my female voice.
No, it's Mr. Bill is what you're using.
Well, whatever. I'm addressing my female side.
Okay, go ahead.
And I cannot believe that I'm sitting here in court while my $60,000 or $80,000 NFL job is now gone. And I'm sitting there going, now who do we believe? Do we believe this woman who received the tape, saw it, spoke about it, and said it was despicable? This is disgraceful. Or am I going to believe the person who this tape inevitably would have had to be shown to? This is like, okay, if there's a dead body there, and I'm the person that's standing over that dead body, And then I'm brought into court, and someone asked me, "Did you see the dead body?" And I'm going, "I didn't know it was a dead body, but was there a corpse there?" Yes, there was. Now, you were the person involved in this, and you were the person that was in this vicinity. You stepped over the body or whatever. It doesn't work, Jimmy. It just doesn't work. We all know that in a corporation, certain things of this magnitude, they cannot be glossed over. There is no way that the boss doesn't get to see this.
I agree.